So, welcome to our Alumni 2 take, which our topic today is on really how to effectively transition into graduate school as well as gainful employment. Today, have some really distinguished guests, some gentlemen that I've had a chance to work with personally throughout the years that have vast experience and knowledge and wisdom and have been in your where you are as far as your track in life at Delaware State University. So first things first, I wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping. If you guys have any questions, definitely hold it to at the end. I'm usually try to get you out of here by 11:50, 11:55 at max. And then I also want to go over a lot of times I do this twice, but if you are attending for something like for a scholarship, for student engagement hours, and also if you would like to have your name put into the $10 Wawa gift drawing, please make sure that you follow the directions that I'm getting ready to go over with the session wrap up. All right. And of course, today we have Jeremy Strickland, that'll be one of our guest panelists, and he's actually a DSU class of 2004 alum. We have Jordan Evelyn, and I'm more than sure he's a class of 2015 alum, as well as Kyle Mall. He's a 2017 graduate, as well as Vincent Chandler, and he's a 2017 graduate. Just information as far as the next virtual event is actually tonight, and that is the Waters Corporation. They're actually coming in. They are going to talk about different opportunities that they have when it comes to internships, employment. But what I really like is that they're bringing professional development. So they're going to talk about things like, not, of course, resume building, but go into a little bit more as far as etiquette. One of the gentlemen that's coming, Mr. Shane Hall, he's an alum of an HBCU, so he's going to talk about his experience in transitioning into corporate, as well as the one that's really the most important, how you can utilize your degree in other areas. A lot of times undergraduates think, if I come in as an ag business major or just a pre-vet major, I can only do X, Y, and Z. So they're going to talk about that tonight. And then this is the actual student survey QR code. So everybody should screenshot this, or take down the link. And here, of course, is where you're going to input your attendance for the session today. It'll leave your name as far as the Wawa gift card. And then also it helps me produce better forms for you, things that you want to see and be a part of. And then it's open for just 40 minutes. So it'll be open from 11:50 till 12:30. So at 11:51, it'll open, and then at 12:30, it'll close. If you go before or after that time, this is essentially what you'll see. So make sure that you take the survey at the right time. And we're going to go right into so we're gonna go right into it. Like I said, I'm really excited today because it's homecoming week. I didn't even realize that this was going on homecoming week. So how befitting that all alums would be together. Definitely trying to not trying, but definitely empowering future Hornets to go forth to serve. So I'm gonna let everybody maybe for like a couple of seconds introduce who you are and a little bit about your background, and then I'll just go right into asking questions. Jeremy, you want to go first since you're the oldest?
Good morning on my end. Everyone, pleased to be here. Thanks, Dr. Meredith, for having us, and pleased to be amongst such a distinguished panel group. Jeremy Strickland, 2004 alum. I studied animal and poetry science at Delaware State University. Born and raised in Chicago. After graduating from Delaware State, I studied abroad in Africa, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And then from there, I did internships at Purdue University and Michigan State University. And then kind of got some hands-on experience to try to get my foot in the door for graduate school. And then I went to Iowa State University for graduate school, worked in DC for a while, worked as a federal wildlife biologist for 10 years with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And then from there, I returned home to manage a nonprofit, manager of education and community outreach, which is a nonprofit organization known as Open Lands, which is in Chicago. And what we do is we do professional development for teachers, and then we create advocates for nature by doing outdoor learning and nature-based solutions to science. So Open Lands, check it out. Pleased to be here. Did I hit everything I needed to, Dr. Meredith?
Yeah, you did. Jordan?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jordan Evelyn. Pleasure to be here amongst everybody. I'm from New Jersey. All right, went to Delaware State back in 2011 to 2015. I studied pre-veterinary medicine. All right. Unlike our some of our panel guests, I did not take internships like I was advised by Alex, and I took a different path, and I went the networking way because if you ask Alex, I'm kind of like a socialite kind of guy. I like to talk to people, I like to network. So I went into a job where I actually talked to a lot of people, and then I went into sales, right? And I worked for True Green. I started off there at the entry position after college, and now I run 3 markets. So I'm a zone branch sales manager for True Green, okay? With that being said, I'm very happy to be here, very happy to answer your questions. I was supposed to go to homecoming this weekend, but I can't anymore, so I'm pretty sad. But I'm happy to see Kyle. Remember Kyle? I haven't seen Kyle in years. Happy to see Alex. I'm happy to meet Vince. I haven't seen you in some years, all right? And I'm happy to meet everybody else on the panel. So good morning, everybody.
And that's really one of the reasons why I invited Jordan, because he doesn't have the same path that you might think that other students might have to getting to where he got. Definitely as first starting off as pre-vet, and then now working in corporate. So he's going to shine a lot of wisdom on thinking outside the box and really thinking about your strengths, because that was always Jordan's strength: being charismatic, being able to hold a conversation, and really caring about everybody that he's talking to. And so when you have that type of opportunity, well, those types of personality traits, you really can go into anything that you desire. So, yep, definitely thinking outside the box. Kyle?
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Alex. It's really a pleasure to be on this call, to be able to see old people like Jordan mentioned. It's been a while since I've seen him. It's been a while since I've seen Chandler. So I'm glad to all be on the call with everybody, and it's definitely bringing back some memories and homecoming. I hope everybody has a good homecoming. But my name is Kyle Mall. I graduated from the college. Well, at that time it was Cars. Now it's CAST. But in 2017, I was an 1890 scholar. I studied agricultural business. And so while I was in college, I did intern in DC with USDA. I was picked up by the Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights. And so I worked with that agency in the summertime. And then when I graduated, I actually got a job with the Farm Credit Administration. So I was a examiner with them for 3 years after college. And then last year, a little bit over a year now, I moved to another agency, another regulatory agency, FHFA, who regulates a different set of GSEs, not the Farm Credit System, but Fannie and Freddie. So I'm over here now and just doing, regulatory stuff. But I'm really interested to be able to speak to you guys and hear everybody else's perspective, but also hopefully give you guys a perspective of what you can do with a degree in agriculture or agricultural business or agriculture education, because there's so many great STEM jobs out there. So I hope you guys look forward. Hope you guys enjoy what we have to say.
And Chandler?
Hello, how's it going? Good morning. I'm glad to see everybody on here. It's been a while since I've seen Kyle, but I graduated in 2017 along with Kyle. I majored in general agriculture. I worked along Mr. Meredith for like 3 years. I was a student worker, so we went on many recruitment events to different schools. We also went out to Indiana for FFA convention. That was amazing. I didn't take any internships like Mr. Meredith told me to. I definitely should have taken advantage of that. But things happen for a reason, so it's all good.
Most definitely.
Currently, I'm a teacher at East Dover, but when I graduated college, I worked for True Green, and I worked for True Green probably like 2 months, and then while I was working for True Green, I applied for Newcastle County PD. Went through the whole process. 2 days from starting the academy, from working True Green, I had partial tears in my wrist, so I wasn't able to start. So I stopped working for True Green, applied for a few jobs to become a para. Became a para. Newcastle County contacted me again to see if I wanted to come back and start become a police officer. I turned them down and kept working as a para, and I had to make a career change, so I became a teacher, and now I'm teaching special ed. And also, enrolled in Wilmington University, and I have 2 more classes to take, and then I'll be graduating in the spring.
So the good part, the crazy part about all this is, everything did happen the way it was supposed to. Because, like Chandler will tell you, I always knew he was going to be a teacher, and so no matter how much I talked that into his future, he always bucked at it. But then it ended up happening, and so it didn't really matter that he didn't do the internships, because there's always opportunity, meaning like we talked about alternative routes to certification. So even though he had a general agriculture degree, he was still able to get into a school district, which is a whole nother program. But this opportunity came about because of Chandler and I. We like to go on Robinhood and deal with stocks, so we always have an ongoing relationship. And we were just talking about, transitioning from college, some different things that he went through. I know I went through plenty that I will share. And so that's when I said, what, maybe we should just do a forum. And then I started thinking, wow, okay, maybe we should invite back some of the other, some of the other alums that had to transition, because it's one thing, and this is for everybody. This isn't a Dell State thing. This is a college student thing. You're in a rhyme and not a rhyme and a reason, but you're in a rhythm of, going to class, doing X, Y, and Z, maybe doing internships, maybe not doing internships, and then it just hits you. So I'll answer my first question, which was, when did you realize that life had shifted and college was no more, but now is the time to grind? And for me, I'll never forget, I finished graduate school in Illinois. I came back to Delaware. I didn't know what I was going to do. I started teaching down in Lake Forest. And I was sitting in like a middle school cafeteria, and I see all these kids running around, and I'm like, and that's when I realized, I said, wow, it's not even about me anymore. It's not about me being in school anymore. It's about like the next generation. And then I was feeling like I was a grad school for 2-3 years. So I'm like, they want me to be here a whole 8 hours? Like, it was crazy. So that's really when my mind shifted, that it was more about not just survival, but being, moving into employment. What about for Kyle? Has always been in this, has always, because when you came to Dell State, you were working at a bank, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so
yeah, so
go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was I was working as a teller from where I was from, because I had graduated high school, and so I was working as a bank teller in the summer. But then I also, come to college, and then I had to enter. Like, I guess summer is maybe like, I don't know how many weeks, 12 weeks or whatever, or how many weeks summer is, but like 10 weeks I'd be in DC, and like the other 8 or however long I'd be back in Delaware at doing the bank teller stuff. But what I'd say is definitely, like, I think probably the thread, at least you probably heard in our introductions, is that like everybody comes to college with a plan, but I'd say definitely you have to be flexible, right? Because when you graduate, it doesn't necessarily always work out exactly how you think it is, and it's okay, right? Because it's like, sometimes really everything always works out for the best. But the truth is, when you graduate, like me, I was an 1890 scholar, right? So thought I had my job lined up and was all ready to go. But even then, what I'm saying, I had to figure something else out, because at that time, we had a new president. Trump, he put a hiring freeze. And so all the 1890 scholars at that time, it was like a hiring freeze for everybody graduating. So, but thankfully, because I had an agriculture business degree, I wasn't just relegated to working at the Department of Agriculture, right? I know I wanted to, continue on doing government work, especially in DC and in the federal, sector, but I, had to be adaptable. And so the advice that I give to any of you, which I'm sure is the same that, Jordan or Chandler or Alex or anybody would say, is like, take the skills and the networking and the soft skills and the technical skills that you learn, but be ready to adapt them to any job. Because sometimes you might find that you have to take a job or you have to take an opportunity, and it might work for a time, but as long as you're moving forward, that's what matters. But if you graduate and say, no, you have it in your mind that you have to do this one thing, and when you graduate, that one thing isn't there, so you just stop. No, you can't do that. You have to, come up with a new plan. You have to be flexible. You have to be versatile. And you have to be able to, kind of pretty much go where the money is, because that's what you realize when you're grown, is that, like, when you graduate, it's like there is no body taking care of you. You have to pay our own bills. You had, everything just hits you so fast when you graduate. It's like ridiculous, like how grown you feel in overnight. I mean, when you have a house and you have a family and you have a support system at college, and then when you leave, it's it. So you have to be flexible. So I just say take everything that you learn and do whatever you have to do.
So I'm curious to know, because Jeremy, when he came with suitcase selling snacks. He was always hustling, making money, literally. So I know there was really no transition for you, Jeremy.
Well, I can just say, yes, there was a transition because of the not being scared to step outside of your comfort zone. Going from Chicago to Delaware, I never forget that ride from BWI Airport. And I'm like, excuse my French, what the hell have I gotten myself into? And it turned out to be one of the best decisions I've made in life. So that would be one of my strongest take-home message to you all, is to not be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. And at times in life, there's setbacks that can lead to comebacks. I took some notes. And then often it's not what you know, it's who you know. Uh, I always thought that being like this social butterfly, you can get you into wherever you need to go. However, life took a turn when I was interning at Michigan State, and I thought I could just network my way into graduate school. I wasn't a 4.0 student. I'd be happy if I finished the semester with a 3.0. And so obviously competing with those other people that had those high level GRE scores, I kind of had to work my way through college, so I didn't have that study time as well. But, the networking is priceless. Finding a mentor who's honest and upfront with you. So when I was at Michigan State, I just thought again that I can network my way into graduate school. And my mentor at that time was like, no, Jeremy, you need more practice. You need more time. You need to get more focused. He said, however, you are a people's person and you'd be good at like coordinating and getting students from diverse backgrounds interested and engaged into like natural resources and conservation. And so I took a step back, and because at that time I had graduated from Delaware State, I was at an internship at Michigan State, but in the fall, like I didn't have the privilege to go back to a dorm. So I'm like, okay, I got a few weeks to figure out once this internship is ending. I didn't want to go back to Chicago because you all see the news. And so I'm like, well, what am I going to do in a few weeks? So I took what my mentor had said about the networking, and then I started just Googling jobs, and I ended up stumbling across a student coordinator position in Washington, D.C. with the Ecological Society of America. Oh my goodness, a life-changing experience. It was there that I was able to, solidify my professional packet, network with the professional society, and then that's where I fell in love with my graduate advisor, Dr. Fred Jansen, who brought me onto his lab because he was like, it's not about a GRE score. It's not about a 4.0 GPA. Not that it doesn't matter, but he wanted someone that he can have a conversation with, not about work. And so that's where I was able to get in. And the outreach component is a skill set that was in my bag that a lot of those scholars didn't have. And so, I was super passionate about my work. I had a God gift talent to sell what it was I was doing to more underserved audiences. And, I tripped up on statistics and like population statistics and stuff like that, genetics. But, I just work with mentors and coaches and get tutors to help you along the way. I would strongly encourage anybody, if you have any opportunities to study abroad, again, it might take you outside of your comfort zone, but as you're applying for positions after that, I mean, oftentimes I would be in interviews and they wouldn't even talk about, well, what's your GPA or what's a 6-syllable word you can use in a conversation. It was more about like, how was Africa? What was the food? And so having those conversations, building trust, building rapport, to me, that's like a hammer in a toolbox. I mean, or a screwdriver. It'll never go to waste. Do not be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. There is no such thing as a dumb question. One thing you'll learn is that as you're sitting back and beating yourself up on, well, I wonder if I should ask this silly question. I bet 9 times out of 10, there's often other people in that same room or in that same space that might ask the same question. And it's so rewarding when you step up and voice your opinions or ask those questions when you be like, oh, well, it's not just me. I was in class with Alex, and he used to mess up the what did they call it, the curve for us. So us folks that were on a like CD borderline, and then you
You're
get
talking about bell curve. You're talking about
the bell
biometrics.
curve. Yeah, the bell curve. And see, that's why you be in class with people like Alex. And he messed up but we're like, Alex, come on, miss a couple questions so us people that are floating with those CDs so it can bump us up to B's. But no, find friends, find mentors, find networks. It's often not what you know. A lot of times it's who you know. Don't be shy. Step outside your comfort zone. It'll build you and prepare you for the long road ahead. And then do something you enjoy. So many of my
Jeremy, this is not the last question.
okay, sorry, I can talk for
What do you
years.
guys think? What was the question? When did you realize that college life was over and it was about that work?
Yeah, well, like I said, when I knew I only had a few weeks to
Yeah.
yeah, okay, all right.
All right. I'll say we are because we're on a timer. So I'm gonna come back to you, Jeremy. But I just wanted to know
Okay,
what they thought as well, just to get their experience. But
okay.
I'm coming right back to you.
I can go next if that's okay.
Okay.
All right. So when I know it was time to grind, guys, like I said, I didn't take any internships, right? So I didn't really have a clear path, right? And when I got back home, really came home to like nothing, right? Not to make anybody sad. I really came home to just a family, but no idea what direction I wanted to go in. So it's funny. I had a guy knock on my door, and he was selling lawn care, and I was like, "Who do you work for?" He said, "True Green." So you guys hiring? He said, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, man, go up there in a suit, right?" And I talked my way in there, and then got an interview, got hired on the spot. Okay, did not like the job when I first got it. I'll be honest with you, I was very, very sad. Right, it's not what I wanted for my life. I was modeling right before that happened. I actually remember that. I was doing pictures for guests. I was doing Calvin Klein ads, right, and everything was going right. And it all came down crashing when I couldn't travel as much as I needed to. I needed to be able to afford to travel and get with an agency. And it was costing more money than I was making at the time, so I had to make a switch. It was True Green, all right? It was very sad for a long time, right? But I did not let that get to me. I told myself, all right, look, you put yourself in this position, you got to get out of it, right? So what I did was I sat down, talked to myself in the mirror. Hey, look, what can you do well? I can speak to people, right? I can light up a room. I can make connections, right? And I know how to handle myself, right? I'm a very, very sharp individual. Anything, I'm a quick learner, so let me get into it, right? And I got there. I was the youngest kid there. Everybody else looked like they're in their 40s and 50s, and I just knew that's not what I wanted. And if you don't have that conversation with yourself, you could oftentimes lose yourself in that space, okay? So not to make this long, what I did was I was like, all right, this is not going to be my future. I'm using this as a tool, like college was supposed to be, right? Because I was having a lot of fun in college, right? I was partying, I was modeling, life was mine, right? And then next thing you know, there's no gym, there's no cab. Your friends are all at their jobs, right? And life changes that fast. You can't walk down the hallway and see everybody you love, right? You got to call them and meet on weekends because we got life going on now, right? And what I did there is I started selling, and I outsold the whole room. And then the guys loved me, so they put in a note for me to become a supervisor of the room. The youngest guy in the room became the supervisor of all these colleagues. And then they voted for I get promoted to run the branch, right? And then that's when I knew it was real. Like, be honest, not even to be funny, you get kicked off your parents' insurance because you age out, right? You
26.
can't go
That's what
back to
y'all
college.
need to be ready for that. Be ready for that because that's what I'm trying to say. Like it just comes right at you. Like you don't have insurance, you don't have money, you don't know how to pay bills.
Bro. And then Alex would always say to me, "How do you have so many Jordans every weekend?" And, and I was getting money in college, I was modeling, I was doing an ambassador's job, and I wasn't saving correctly, right? And all that comes around full circle, right? But the best part about it is that's not the end all be all, but it does punch you, right? And people like Alex you can call to anchor you down, right? Because I've called you a few times, Alex, when I was at True Green. Like, I need a plan, bro. Like, I'm losing it here.
I've actually called you just to check in on you
Yep.
because you know you and
Right.
Rochelle are like together like little
Like
twins.
that.
So yeah,
Yep.
when I check on her, I call you too. Yeah.
So it's the connections I made, right? I even talked to Kyle. I talked to Kyle's older sister, right? Talked to his younger sister, right? You start to realize that this is a very humbling experience, right? And some people have some things figured out that you may not. But always trust yourself, all right? Don't ever become down. Don't get stuck in there, all right? Anything is possible. Trust me. And I'm not going to say like I was the worst student, but I was not the most focused, okay? And if I had the focus I had now back then, no, there's no telling what would have happened differently, but I wouldn't change anything, right? Because I love where I landed. I love the connections I made. And yeah, it was real. When the student debt collectors, hey, you owe $800. And it was like, oh, I don't have a plan for that, right? Then the insurance company say, what plan do you want? I don't know how to pick out insurance plans, okay? So it changed at that very moment for me. All right, guys? So I'll keep it short and sweet there, but that is real.
Chandler.
The change for me was when I first got out of college, and then I went straight back home. So it was no friends. Had to get some money, so something had to shake. My cousin was working for True Green, and he had told me about it. So I had called up to True Green, and I had got like a job interview. So I was working True Green for a while, but we had to wear these long sleeves and pants every day. And so we would get there early, like 6:30, and I wouldn't leave till like 6. So I was like, oh man, this isn't life. It was hot. I wanted to make more money. I thought coming out of college I was gonna have like a big paying job. Didn't happen. So I was working there and I was like, I make the best of it, but this won't be my career. So I always wanted to be a police officer. So I applied for Newcastle County. Um, uh, got approved. Like my application got approved. Then I was able to take the fitness test and go through the whole process. And I got to the finish line, and then I quit True Green, and then uh, messed up my wrist, and then I was at home broke, working for True Green no more. So I had to find another job, and I knew that I had a degree, so I could use it to get an education, and a pair job open, and I was able to apply for that, and then I got it accepted.
Okay.
But
So
yeah, it definitely hit hard when I didn't have any money. That's what changed everything.
yeah. Well, I almost got ready to tell my story, but I still work at Dell State. So my question is now, because students still clown me about hitting that deer. There'd be brothers and sisters and little cousins of graduates. Yeah, you hit that deer. Nah, I can't tell all my story, but um, so my question is, once you did transition, whether it was to get into graduate school or to gainful employment, what culture shock did you have once you got there, if any? And actually, you know what, Kyle, you were pretty acclimated between internships and work.
Mhm.
Actually, I
Yeah,
want
I'll
to hear.
say.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was just gonna say. I'll say that. Definitely. I think that any political situation, I mean, any situation where you're dealing with people, right? So it's like there's a certain politics when you come into school and you're in your class, and there's a certain politics when you do your internship, and very much the same. There's a certain politics when you first start working. I'm sure Jordan knew, when he came in with all the older people that he was working with, and then he gets promoted over everybody. There's a certain way that you have to, go about. And what I'll definitely say is because I know that there's a bunch of right, a honor roll or whatever what are the dean's list, president's list that they have here. Like I know that we have a bunch of great smart students on this call. And so what I'll say is like if you were like me, one of those people that like was studying and like always trying to get the A's or whatever like that, that's fine and all, but what you have to understand is that there's no amount of book knowledge that's going to just prepare you to work in a certain environment that you're just would never have. You can have a PhD, but if you come into a new job and you don't know the culture and you don't know the way things work, then you might not be successful, even if you do have the technical skills. And so, what the advice that I'll give is that, like, you know, come into any environment, whether you're going to graduate school, whether you're going to work, and just be humble, right? You want to always be humble wherever you are, but definitely make sure that you don't go in thinking that you know everything, because in a new environment, you're just there to learn. Like, I think it's really like, I can't believe this is coming out of my mouth, because I'm one of the main people that's always like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. But what I'll say is, like, after I worked, it's been 4 years since I've been working thus far. And I'll just say, like, I'm looking at myself now like, oh, there's so many things I want to do, da, da, da. And it's just like the past 4 years was just about me learning, right? And me learning about work and learning about what it means. And so you're gonna be able to work for 30, 40 years after you graduate, maybe 50. I mean, the way it's looking, we might be working till we're 70. So, like, you have so much time to do whatever it is that you want to do. You don't have to rush to go to graduate school or rush to get a specific job right when you get out of college. But what I'll say is, like, go in and learn something. Like, if as long as you are learning something, you're on the right track. But don't go in try to tell somebody else what to do. Go in there and really learn and seek people out and find mentors, and do research before you start somewhere. Like, don't just take a job and not know. Definitely research the culture, because that, like, a job is, when you are sitting at college and you look at different job descriptions, it's like, that's one thing. But a company or an agency or your employer is a separate culture in itself, and each one is completely unique and different. So I just say, no matter how smart you are, and even if you're an A student or you're an F student, there's always that soft skill piece, right? And if you're really somebody that really, like, is truly passionate, you'll find people that are going to help you and pick you up and bring you along the way, even if you maybe don't necessarily have the grades or you still need to work on the soft skill piece. But definitely, I say, yeah, you have to be smart in the way you handle yourself around people in any environment.
So the next couple of questions, because we're already at 11:30, everybody's not going to get to answer, but I'm going to chop around from what I know about you. And
Okay.
So the next person I want to know from is Jordan, especially when you walk into a room with peers and you leave as their boss. What was your culture shock going into a strict leadership role over so many other people?
So, first thing, is Miss Cunningham the new dean? I just want to ask that first.
Miss Cunningham works with us.
Okay, how you doing, Miss Cunningham?
I don't think Dr. Winstead's on the line right now.
Okay. I just wanted to say hi because I didn't hear from her yet, but how you doing? First things first, coming into that, I was very, very nervous, okay? You got me, I was 23, and I'm in charge of a 45-year-old, okay? And there's no amount of videos and classes that'll be prepping you for somebody that's almost your parents' age, right? And you have to direct them at work, and you have to do such in a manner where they respect you, okay? And how you do that is, like Kyle says, you acclimate to the room, you find out what everybody's cold button, hot button is, you start to network within there, and you learn from everybody, because you can learn from any and everybody, right? And Alex can tell you, I talk to everybody, down to kids, right? We used to go to the farm, I was talking to the cows, right? Just talking to everybody, right? So I talk to everybody, right? And I got in the room, and that's how I got the support as I got, because I talked to everybody every morning. So my name was being brought up in rooms where I wasn't present because of how I talked to people, right? I would walk in, I said good morning to the entire office every morning. Whether you say good morning back or not, I always said good morning, okay? And then you have those people who don't say good morning that say only good morning to you, okay? And then you form a relationship with those people because nobody's ever taken the time to not give up on them and speak to them, okay? So when you get put in a position to manage people and you're hiring people older than you, you can be intimidated because you assume, I respect older age, right? You assume they may know more than you. They've been through more than you just off of age, right? Not always the case, all right? And they can learn from you just as much as you can learn from them, all right? So be confident. Even if you don't know what you're doing, be confident, all right? Be confident in yourself that you will figure it out and how you're going to do it. So making that transition to Alex was scary, all right? It was scary because I was running meetings, and I've been in sales for 6 months. And I'm giving a meeting and somebody's been in sales for 20 years. So it's very nerve-wracking, right, because I underestimated myself. And don't do that, right? I had that conversation real quick. I've only been with True Green for 5 years. I've been promoted 5 times. So it is, you are able to do it, but you got to be able to be confident and rely on yourself, okay? And that's what I would say. It was scary, all right? But through confidence and that coaching up and having people like Kyle, Alex, people you can anchor to talk to, right? That'll help you get through it.
So I have this is like a lightning round question. So I just need one sentence from each person. I want to try to get through the rest of them. What in just one sentence? Uh, what is something that you wish you had taken advantage of while you were still in your undergraduate and/or graduate experience that could have made your transition to employment smoother? Just in one sentence.
I see. For me, I'll go first. Internships. I didn't take any.
Okay.
Take free ones, take paid ones, take internships.
This is Jeremy. I'll go next. Involvement with professional societies such as Manners.
Okay. How?
Well, see, this wasn't specifically for employment, but I will say that I wish that I would have gotten the opportunity to study abroad because after we graduated, they had the pandemic. And so I still have yet to be to Africa. I still have yet to be to some of the other continents. But yes, I do study abroad because that is a great opportunity. And it seems like you can only do it in college.
Chandler?
I gotta agree with Jordan. Getting internships, definitely taking more internships.
Yeah, and for me as an alum, and I think maybe this is my punishment for the job that I do, is I really wish that I had gotten involved. I did get involved a little bit with Manners and FFA, but not to the degree that I could have developed soft skill sets and the way that that they could have been developed instead of going through the chain of employment. So then my next question is, who or what support systems did you keep yourself close to during and after college? And one of you guys already mentioned about, I think it was Kyle that mentioned about a support system and not, having it while you're in college and then it not being there anymore. So, so basically, what was their impact on your current success? So your support systems before and after college. Also, just be mindful, concise about your answer because I got, I think, 2 or 3 more questions. Kyle?
I can go first.
Okay.
I can keep it short. All my friends that I had in college, we formed a group chat and we check on each other every week. All right, we talk. Alex was my advisor. Never lost touch with Alex. Okay, he's always been learning, developing, getting more degrees, certifications. He's always been on the path of higher success. And I just make sure I align myself with the same thing. I talk to my friends. We encourage each other. I talk to my advisor, so I know where I came from. Make sure, I know how much adversity I faced from college to now, and that keeps me anchored. So I would say, make sure you keep those people close, and that support system is the same support system I had walking in there. And I'm fortunate enough to have seen all my friends go from the first year of college to the last year of college.
Okay. Kyle?
Yeah, I'll just say as it relates to a support system, I know this might be kind of, out there, but what I'm gonna say is as a person who graduates and becomes an adult and goes to work, one thing you're gonna have to learn how to do is support yourself, right? You're gonna have to learn how to encourage yourself because there are gonna be days where it gets stressful and you're not in college. It's like you can't turn to the right. I can't call, Alex or Chandler or Jordan or whoever. So sometimes what I'll say is that definitely, everybody's always a text away, especially in this pandemic environment, right? You can always FaceTime most people, but what I'll say is just in terms of being encouraged, learn how to, even if other people don't say, oh, you're doing a good job, even if other people don't say, oh, you're going to be able to do this, just like Jordan said, he was managing people 20, 30 years older than him, his parents' age. They hired him for a reason, right? So not the other people that was there could have got the job, but they gave it to him. And so even though they're not saying, Jordan, you're going to be able to do this, he has to be able to look himself in the, go in the bathroom, pull himself together and say, look, I know I can do this, and go in there and put a good face. So all I'm gonna say is make sure that you can encourage yourself and have a support system amongst yourself and believe in yourself first, because nobody else can support you and hype you up if you don't even believe in yourself. So I'll say have that first, but then also support family and friends.
Strickland?
Yeah, I'd say that work-life balance and staying involved in extracurricular activities. And I'm horrible at this, but learning how to turn off work and have your own personal time so that you don't overwhelm yourself.
No,
and then
I'm talking about support system. What support system do you have in college?
You have to support yourself.
Oh, okay. So there's no Terica, there's no Derek, there's no me.
Well, you, yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering. I know you're doing 2 things at one time. I know what you working on.
Nothing. I'm just focused on the group.
All right, yeah. You act like I don't know you, but okay. Finish the other question that you're answering.
What was the other question I got you
No,
said?
the only question was who was your support system in college and after college, and what was their impact on your success?
Well, a small group of friends and Dr. Rich Barchesky. I don't know if you all knew, he was the chair of the ag department for so long, and we just kept in touch, kind of like what others said. And he built me up at times when I was down and kind of had to go in the bathroom and pull myself together, and just assured me that it's just a part of growing up, for lack of better words.
Chan?
All right. So I would have to say my friends and Mr. Meredith. So I still keep in contact with all my friends. Actually, me and Kyle and Crystal used to hang out all the time back at DSU. So I still keep in contact with everybody.
Gotta give a shout out to Crystal. We miss her. We wish she was on the call.
Yeah, Crystal's not here on the call, but she's at work. She's doing pretty good. So I can say my friends group, everybody's successful. So we make sure we keep in contact with everybody, encourage them to better themselves.
So,
But yeah, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you're good. No, I'm listening.
Yeah. So I would say, yeah, make sure. Well, I created a group chat just to make sure I keep in contact with everybody, and don't change once you start getting successful. Stay the same.
Yeah, never change. And I was just messing with Strickland about the other three people because we are like the class of 2004. It was a pretty big class, but we all just stick with each other. Derek, Terica, Jeremy, and myself. And it's weird because even out of that class, I don't think that anybody else has a clique like that all through, like still going on 20, well, a little long, like, yeah, now. And so,
Alex, that's the same class with that's the same class with Saquana and Sterling.
yeah, but they're a small group. There's two people. I'm talking about a group.
I was asking if you guys are all in the same class.
Saquana, Sterling, Jason Hall. Yeah, we're all together. But as far as like inside that, as far as a group, like we all get up every homecoming, they come to Delaware, or me and Jeremy, we used to always freak with each other because we were both working in ag, so we'd see each other at the Manners Conference. But we are all literally like, we're more than just family. And so, like Chandler just said, that whole success thing is extremely important because people knew you back when you weren't really much of anything. And so you need those people to keep you grounded for when you get people around you that really aren't for your good. So you never want to change. So that's really important. One other question I have, and just real concise, because I think we have less than like 10 minutes, but I really do want to know, when you guys transitioned into employment or graduate school, how did you make your time management most effective for you? Because when you're in college, you have a lot of downtime, whether people realize it or not. A lot of downtime. I think 85% of the time that you're in college, you're outside of the classroom. So you're only in the classroom for 15% of the time. So when you strip away that 85% and now you're hit with 40 hours a week minimum for work, how did you make your time management most effective?
I got one for you, man. I got to do this one. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I got one for you.
Oh yeah, because you are the socialite.
I first started with True Grit. My schedule was 11 to 9, right? Terrible schedule, right? 11 in the morning to 9 at night, making sales, right? Nothing's open before 10, all right? And everything's closed at 10 at night. So I had to make transitions. I used to go to the gym a lot. So I had to start going at 10 at night or 6 o'clock in the morning, right? You got to do laundry. You got to do laundry after work, before work, right? That downtime was literally reversed, right? You had to make time for people. So it's not like I said, not walking down the hallway anymore. I got to call people, hey, what are you doing next Friday type of deal, right? Because that work-life balance, right, like Jeremy was saying, is very important, right? So you want to make sure you make time for the people you love, right? Make sure you make time for yourself too, right? That downtime, I missed that. Alex will tell you, I'll be outside, just on the plots. I'll be outside walking around. It's like a day like today, homecoming week. I'm outside all day, right? Don't have anything to do. I'm just outside because I like being outside, right? And that turns around, right? So I had a girlfriend, long distance. I would have to get off of work 9 o'clock at night, catch a train to Washington, D.C., make time for her, and catch a train right back Monday morning, go straight to work from 11 to 9, right? So if it's important to you, you will make time for it, but you want to make sure you prioritize what's important to you, all right, and make time for it like that. if it doesn't bother you in 5 days, don't spend more than 5 minutes on it. All right, and that's just my rule of thumb.
Wow.
Wow.
I need my pen real quick. Kyle, you always got a word of wisdom. So Chandler, what was your thing with time management?
Well, for me specifically, I'm gonna say there's this great quote that says, "If you do it anywhere, you'll do it everywhere." So I'll say this: I was a nerd in college, right? So I definitely studied and worked and was in the library a lot. And so I'll say it really wasn't too difficult to transition from college to working full time because I was already working, like I was working in cooperative extension for Mr. Thayer. I was doing internships in the summer. I was working a little here and there. So I say, like, if you make good habits in college and you have, a regimen and your routine. And so, like, if you're a junior now, I say start practicing that because you're going to have a schedule and you're going to have a regimen when you graduate. So the earlier you kind of start to manage your time, because you don't just do nothing and then graduate and all of a sudden now you're ready to go into the workforce. I mean, it's a progress. It's something that you work towards while you're in college. So I'll say if you have good time management skills now, or if you don't, you can work on it so that by the time you graduate, it will work. So I'll just say it wasn't too difficult for me, thankfully, because I had already been trying to budget my time because that's just, life is difficult, taking full load, of course, and then all the other stuff. So just time management is important.
I do want to throw this in there real quick because this is my second time writing it down. And when you just said working for Mr. Thayer, I think it's really important because this is how Chandler came into my life. You can actually work with anybody on campus without getting paid if you just want to work and get experience. That's number one. And Chandler used to hang out in my office during the summertime. I'm like, well, who is this? Like, very personable, very good conversation. I don't start to think like he was a peer or a colleague. so I was like, well, you want to work in here? So he would start working in my office. But what I'm trying to get at is if we're talking about, I'm really big on not ever making excuses. And I think that's why I try to lead so hard, because I try to make sure that what I'm creating for whoever needs to use it behind me has no excuse why they can't complete it. And so I'm saying that to say, if you can work in somebody's office for free and you have, say you always wanted to go study abroad, well, you can always call Miss Candace Alfonso Moore and be like, can I work in your office for X, Y, and Z? Even if you're just trying to get more information and understand about international. But it can also kill community service hours that you have. You could also potentially take on a job in that office. You're also taking on the skill sets that you need to put on your resume for an employer to look at you like, wow, you're able to do this, that, and the third, and here you are.
And you have a little money to go over to Dover Downs with.
Yeah, what'd you say?
I said, and you have a little bit of change to go over and play the slots at Dover Downs. Don't act like y'all didn't play the slots in college now. Come on now.
I'm not even going to start because I was about to call out some people. But
let me tell you something. When you hit 21, it's not illegal. Now the casino, as my grandfather would say, is right across the street.
Yes.
We used to be over there.
No, we're not promoting that, but all I'm saying is that there's really no excuse not to get everything that you need from when you walk out the door, like Kyle is saying, and you already have developed some type of rhythm and have some type of experience behind you to where it's not a shock to actually go to work the next day. What time management for you, Chandler? What's that like? Because I know you're good at time management.
I'm not gonna lie, you gotta know who you are. I still procrastinate, but you have to create a routine for yourself. But now that I've gotten older, I am on time, but I still do procrastinate. So you just gotta establish a routine and knock out the most important task at first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Strickland, time management, and I'm not even going to say anything.
I'm horrible at it. Plan ahead. I have a hard time saying no, so I get pulled in so many different directions. So learn from my mistakes. Plan ahead. I also put in the chat a pretty good book for anybody to read. It only costs like $15, but check it out. It's called Getting Things Done: The Art of Stress-Free Productivity. It's an easy read. Check it out. Alex will buy it for you for Christmas or your birthday. He has the funds for it. So reach out to Alex for the book.
Yes, Dr. Meredith, yes.
Yeah. So my next question, did everybody get to answer that? Chandler? Yeah,
Yep.
we got everybody. Okay, so two things. And we're wrapping it up. But two things. One would be your greatest advice and or wisdom that you would like to impart on a future Hornet, number one. And then I want you to tie that in. You don't have to tie it in, but the other one is, because I skipped it, but I do want to know, and I only want one, because I know how you lived for 4 years. What is your fondest homecoming memory since it's homecoming week? So your greatest either advice or wisdom to impart to a future Hornet, and your greatest or your most fondest homecoming memory. And we'll start with you, Jordan.
All right. So, my greatest advice to you all is live in your uncomfort zone, not in your comfort zone. For the longest, I lived in my comfort zone, and I cheated myself out of a lot of opportunities to get pushed into the real world and have to live in my uncomfort zone. Okay? So, in your uncomfort zone, that's where you're going to grow the most. Okay? And in these next 4 years, be fearless and grow relentlessly, all right? Just grow. Focus on growing, all right? If it's reading one more book than you usually do, if it's riding a bike and you never wrote a book before or did that before, right? If it's going fishing, it doesn't always have to be educational, right? It can just be walking down to a different part of campus that you've never been to, right? Live in that uncomfort zone because that's where the growth happens, right? And I will tell you this, when it comes to advice, do what you need to now so you can do what you want to later, okay? Because it's no cheat in the process, okay? You have to put in your 10,000 hours at whatever it is you're going to do, right? Whether that 10,000 hours comes when you have the free time in college, like Alex is saying, or you have to make time when you're a full adult working every day. That 10,000 hours process does not get skipped. So make time for that to happen, all right? And I would say do it while you're younger, okay? Because you have more time, right? And I would say that's what you want to do. I was not as well as polished as I am now, right? If you can meet me a couple years ago and now, I'm a very different person, okay? But the journey is worth it, right? And it's not the destination, it's all about the journey. That's the fun part, all right? And when it comes to homecoming, like Alex told you, I did party a lot, right? I'm not gonna shy away from that. When I come home from homecoming, it's like coming home to seeing a whole bunch of cousins you haven't seen in forever, right? And everybody's hugging, laughing. You're meeting people you never met before. You're meeting older generations. They're giving you plates of barbecue, watching a football game, right? It's just an amazing time. There's like so much love from so many people that you don't even know. It's just because we all been through this, right? And that's like my favorite part of homecoming.
So, and I will say just two things real quick. I guess this will be mine. Is definitely two things I learned. My next door neighbor growing up, he used to be the general manager of Heckinger's in Dover, Delaware. That's how long ago that was. Over there where, what's Heckinger's now? Where Kohl's is, was Heckinger's. And so he also had his own side antique business, and I used to always have to move stuff for him. That's why I don't like moving now. And we were riding, and he just said, Alex, and I was real young. He's like, Alex, there's no shortcuts in life. And he would just be real. He'd be like, there's no shortcuts in life. Just always remember that. And then when I finished my doctorate, my dissertation advisor, he used to always say to us, he would always say, you're either going to pay now or you're going to pay later. And that's just the truth. You're either going to pay now or you're going to pay later. So, all right. What about you, Chandler? Fondest memory for homecoming and greatest advice that you can give?
Fondest homecoming memory had to be when Future came to the school and performed. Yeah, so like Jordan, I can say I enjoyed my time drinking a lot. I know Kyle said something about the casino. Mr. Meredith was throwing some shots, but wasn't trying to say anything. Yeah, we would go to the casino, have some late nights out there having fun.
And be to the farm by 8. Stop.
Yep. So we probably wouldn't get up to the casino until like 3 a.m. It was crazy. What I can say, I would say invest now, learn about some stocks and start investing. Stock screeners, and then and don't burn any bridges. That's the biggest thing. You never know who you might need, so you don't want to talk bad and have a falling out with somebody and be like, I need you to write me a letter of recommendation. They're like, no, I'm not. So.
Or really who they might know, because what's happened to me for years has always been not necessarily a bridge burnt with me at all. It's been people come to me and want recommendations about students that are asking them for recommendations or for jobs. Like, what do you think about this student? Well, I'm not gonna lie. So I mean, I'm not, because they have respect for me. That's why they're asking me. So what you're saying, and I wish I had learned that a lot younger as well, is definitely not to burn bridges, because you think you're burning the bridge for the right reason, but later on you just never know who knows who and why, and you know what they might know, what they might say about a situation. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
Don't take 8 a.m. classes. That's my last
Yeah,
thing.
well, they're starting to get rid of those. Kyle,
Praise God.
did you say that was you done, Chandler?
No. Oh yeah, sorry. You done,
Yeah,
Chandler?
I'm done. You can shoot the call.
All right, Kyle, because we got 5.
Okay, yeah. I was just gonna sum up what everybody said, and Alex hit the nail on the head, because Mr. Thayer used to say the same thing to me. Either you pay it now or you pay it later. So like literally, you're only gonna get out of college what you put in. Now you can really do the work and really work on yourself and your skills, or you cannot. But either way, there's gonna be a consequence, good or bad. So I'll just say nobody's gonna do the work for you. Like that's just in life. I think that's the biggest thing, is like you have to do the work yourself. You just have to do it. You have to push yourself every day.
Strickland, because I got to put up this QR code.
All right, yeah. I like the homecoming where I think we had the Locks, Jay-Z, and Nas all on the stage. One,
Way older than me.
so that was pretty.
That was what 19. That was 1980. Sorry, let me stop. What year was that? Because I wish I would have been in. I wish I would have been on campus.
That was like 01.
I was gonna say 01.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
I think
2000.
Lil Kim was there. It was nice.
Oh wow,
And then
that's lit.
your greatest wisdom, really quick, that you like to impart.
I kind of mumbled it throughout the session, but plan ahead and prioritize. Work to be rich and not look rich. So invest. It's never too early to start investing.
Yeah, that's the truth. All right, so you guys, I'm gonna transition real quick just to put up the QR code, so that if you haven't gotten it, you can go right ahead and screenshot it. And like I said, it opens at 11:50 to 12:30. And or if you don't like using the QR code, you can always just utilize the survey link. There you want to input your information for attendance for the day. You also get the opportunity for the $10 Wawa gift card drawing. Also, we did the dial back registration. So if you registered, you also get another chance to get another $10 Amazon gift card. So if you did the dial back by the deadline, your name goes into the hat for the $10 Amazon gift card drawing. And then also you attended and you did the survey, and that's also a $10 Wawa gift card drawing. So that's $20 right there. I hope that you guys learned a great amount. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed you guys. I'm sad that y'all aren't going to be here for homecoming. If you need anything, like always, just definitely reach out. But I truly, truly, truly appreciate you guys. And I'll be calling on you guys just for helping to develop really our Black Male Initiative. So I'm just putting that out there right now. And yeah, you guys.
Thank you, Dr. Meredith, for putting this on.
Yes, thank you, Alex. We appreciate it. And students, if you guys want to reach out to anybody, feel free, get our emails. And if you have any questions about True Green or teaching or nonprofits or working for the government, please reach out.
Yeah, or if you even need help looking over a resume or a cover letter or whatever.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I put my link there, I put my full name in the chat box. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, right? And you can connect with my network, right? I'm all about networking and talking to people, so feel free to reach out, right? Don't be a stranger, don't be scared. Trust me, I have a conversation with anybody, so feel free to reach out.
All right. Well, that concludes our alumni takes for fall 2021. And we'll be coming back to you guys spring 2022 with another lineup of alums. So thank you guys again, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for this, Alex. I appreciate it. Thank you.